Hello, it is FMC. I am Jeremy. That is SP3. Monday morning, the final Monday of August, and it's a big day, SP3. It's a big day. Last night, it happened. We got it. How excited are you? The new Taylor Swift album. It's coming in October, SP3. How excited are you? Come on.
I am so excited. I'm at a loss for words. I'm gonna let you talk about this because I know all the Swifties. They clicked on this link wanting to hear about Jeremy Lambert talk about Taylor Swift's new critically acclaimed album.
So the VMAs were last night. Did you know the VMAs are still a thing, SP3? Because I did. I didn't realize.
I was utterly shocked. I was utterly shocked that the VMAs are still a thing. I wouldn't have known anything about the VMAs if it wasn't for the Challenge Twitter account posted a couple of the Challenge All-Stars at the show. MJ was there. Joanna, John A, excuse me. John A was there. And what's his name? The guy that got beat by Wes. That's what. Yes was there.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
And Tina was there. Tina, the real star of All Stars.
I don't follow the Challenge account. I just don't. So I did not know the VMAs were last night until I saw a couple people. Denise Salcedo tweeted that Taylor Swift was there. So I was like, oh, okay. The VMAs are tonight. Awesome. Didn't watch. Watched F-Boy Island start of season 2, SP3. We're gonna talk about that. You got to watch the F-Boy Island. Oh man, this is just horrible garbage television. And season 2, we found out it's already wrapped. It's done. So all the episodes are on HBO Max. So we started watching season 2 last night. I learned about the VMAs were on last night. So late night, I saw that Taylor Swift had announced a new album. And then at midnight, she posted, it comes out October 21st, and it's called Midnight, and it's 13 songs that she just wrote on sleepless nights, and she wrote them, and now it's going to be an album. This is going to be the greatest album of all time, SV3. I'm going to say it right now. Did she
write all the songs at midnight?
I don't know. Maybe she was up at like 3 a.m. one night, and she wrote them. It's just sleepless nights. I don't know about you. When I'm having those sleepless nights when I can't sleep, and then I wake up and then I'm feeling like kind of creative, and in my head I'm thinking of all of these things of like, oh man, I can do this, I can do that. She is channeling that into music. SV3. Those nights during the Kanye beef when she couldn't sleep and she's gonna wake up and she's just pinning lyrics about Kanye. She's pinning lyrics about the asshole who took her songs. She's pinning lyrics about the breakups and everything. This is when people do their best thinking, when they can't sleep and they're just wake up in the middle of the night and they're like, I got to get this creativity out. Like the creativity is full. I have all these thoughts. That are making me not be able to sleep. And now she's going to put them to paper. She's already the greatest singer-songwriter of all time. Midnight Taylor Swift putting these thoughts on paper, the greatest album of all time. So I think people know this. If they don't, now they're gonna know. Getting married early October. I think some people know the date. You know the date. Getting married early October. This album comes out mid-October, kind of late-ish October. I've requested to delay the wedding from early October to after this album comes out. Yeah, if you've booked to come to the wedding, I want you to know, change your travel plans now. We're delaying the wedding until after the album comes out because we got to have songs from this album on the playlist. We got to have songs from this album on the playlist. So
that's preposterous, but
no, it's not. We got to have the new album. We got to have the new songs at the wedding playlist. This is a must. We can't have our wedding early October and then a couple weeks later, the new Taylor Swift album comes out and then the wedding is like, we didn't have any new songs on there. We got to have them. It's got to be like the first wedding with the new, we're going to get married. So October 21st is when this album comes out at midnight. The new wedding date, everybody, is October 21st at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. is the new wedding date. and we're just going to play the entire album. Our wedding is going to double as a Taylor Swift Midnight's listening party. That's going to be our wedding.
Have like a silent wedding where everybody has
Your
like
UK
earphones.
audio is terrible. It's terrible, SP3. You're a robot now. It's garbage.
It's only like that because my daughter is behind me, literally kicking me in the back and messing up my microphone. Can you hear me now?
A little bit, yes. But your audio, your video is also terrible as well. So there, it's fixing.
Oh, that might be.
It's fixing.
That might be because this one is in the back of me, trying to mess things up. But
okay,
it's fixed. Is it fixed now?
Yeah, it seems okay. Yeah.
Great. I don't understand anything you just said. I think that it sounds like you're gonna have like a silent wedding where everybody has earphones and they're listening to Taylor Swift's album.
No. We're gonna play it over the loudspeaker for everybody.
Oh, no one wants to do that.
No, everybody wants to do that. It's my wedding, SP3. This is what we're gonna do. Everyone's gotta acquiesce. It's my special day. It's my.
Who's your wedding planner? I want to speak to J-Lo. I want to speak to Jennifer Lopez. Whoever your wedding planner is, I want to speak to.
We should get one. I mean, they're costly, so that's no fun.
Why wouldn't you get Jennifer Lopez? I heard that's her occupation after that movie.
We're getting Taylor Swift to play at the wedding.
See, look at you're poor. The poor sweet future Mrs. Lambert is saying SP3 help. See, this is a cry for help. This is ridiculous.
She has messaged me and she has messaged me and says, "Let's calm down about calling her the greatest singer-songwriter of all time."
Did you? I'm not going to calm down when you said
it's the truth. It's the truth. The greatest singer-songwriter of all friggin' time.
You could have just said her generation. Swift. You could have said her generation, and I wouldn't have reacted. You're ridiculous.
All time in the history of mankind on this planet, on any other planet. That is the truth. That's the truth. Name one who is better.
Michael Jackson.
Who?
Oh, will you stop?
Who?
Will you stop? You're preposterous.
Who's Michael Jackson?
Whitney Houston.
Who?
Oh my God.
I never heard of these people. Name me one song that they've written better than All Too Well 10-minute version.
The entire Man in the Mirror album for Michael Jackson, the Thriller album.
Song? That's a Justin Timberlake song.
Justin Timberlake's another better singer-songwriter.
Absolutely not. Did you listen to his last album?
Prince. Thank you. D Camel. Prince. Prince is another.
Which Prince? Which one? There's a lot of them throughout history. It's like Prince
there's
George,
there's
Prince
only
Harry,
one. Purple
Prince
Rain.
Michael.
The creator of Purple Rain.
Rain's not purple.
Oh my God. I hate you.
The Beatles. I've heard of the Beatles. John, Paul, Ringo, and Thomas. Those are the Beatles. Right?
I love you mixing the challenge bit with this bit. You would do good at the challenge. You would do good at trivia for the challenge.
The Beatles. I've heard of them. I got them all right? Those are the four? Are there five?
You could tell me. I don't know. I have never listened to the Beatles. I have never listened to the Beatles.
Yeah, that's probably
no. I've heard some songs. I'm lying. I have heard some songs from the Beatles, but I named singer-songwriters that are greater.
John Lennon and Paul McCartney ain't got shit on Taylor Swift. All right, nothing.
You're the feature Mrs. Lambert messaged me on Twitter and says, "Do not listen to that man." Thank you.
She just said she's gonna fight all of us. Who is all of us?
Not me. I didn't do anything. I am disagreeing with everything you were saying.
You disrespected the Beatles by saying you've never listened to their music. She's a huge Beatles fan.
I'm sorry. I am sorry. I just haven't.
Rihanna.
So I just looked it
Hold
up.
on, A-Shock.
I just looked it up.
In timeout. A-Shock's in timeout. I like Rihanna. Let's
Greatest
calm down.
greatest singer songwriters. Kurt Cobain is up here.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of Kurt Cobain.
What? Name me one good song he's done.
Smells Like Teen Spirit.
He did DDP's theme?
Oh God, I hate you. I really do sometimes. There's a whole list. If you Google greatest singer and songwriters, Taylor
Google's
Swift does
lies.
never
lies.
shows up. Never shows up.
You can't listen to Google SB3. You can't do it.
Hey, I'd rather listen to Google than whatever type of BS you were talking about here.
You can't listen to Google.
Paul McCartney is up here.
Bruce McCarthy, is he related to Alex? He probably doesn't show up either. He's supposed to go to these band sessions and he just didn't show up.
He showed up when I hosted Pillar to Post. That's all I know.
He doesn't. Caden says Chris Jericho. He's also in timeout. All these people are in
Why are you putting people on timeout?
Because they're wrong about things.
Oh, God.
If they're wrong, I'm putting them in timeout.
Bruce Springsteen.
Who?
Oh, God. Johnny Cash. Oh, I got the greatest.
Okay, let me say this. Let me say this about Johnny Cash. All right, people are gonna say, "Oh, he's so great. He did all these great things." This is like saying, Will Ospreay. Oh, I just use a wrestling analogy. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, mute yourself. Mute yourself, so I can name some better singer-songwriters. Prince, Stevie Wonder. This man is disrespecting the blind. He is disrespecting the blind out here in these streets for his love of Taylor Swift. Stevie freaking Wonder. Are you kidding me?
Never heard of him. Never heard of him.
Oh,
let me tell you about Johnny Cash. People think, let me go back to my Johnny Cash.
Stevie Wonder created the greatest happy birthday song of all time.
Happy birthday. That was Marilyn Monroe. That was Marilyn Monroe.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Stop. That was Marilyn Monroe. That's the greatest. No, stop.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Stop it. You're muted. Knock it off. Marilyn Monroe has the greatest happy birthday song. Okay? Let me tell you about Johnny Cash. People think this guy is great. I don't know why. I don't get it. Just because he played in front of 5 people at a prison doesn't make him great. That doesn't mean anything. People want to equate that. Oh, he's such a great artist. The art of it all, the art form, because he played in front of 5 people. Big deal. Big deal. SB3, play in front of everybody. Play in front of the whole stadium. Sold out stadiums. How's his merch sales doing? SB3? How's the Johnny Cash merch sales?
It's doing pretty well.
Justifiably low is how they're doing.
Will you stop, Jeremy Omega? You got Stevie Nicks, Kate Bush. Who? Oh my God.
Who's Kate Bush?
How dare you? Running up that hill. She
did one song at Stranger Things. One song Stranger Things used, and now everybody thinks she's great.
See, I can't even say Taylor Swift. I can't even say Taylor Swift is the greatest singer-songwriter of her generation, because you know what generation we're living in? We're living in the same generation of Lauryn Hill. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. That's the greatest songwriting album of all time. Oh, dude.
Who?
Mute yourself for disrespecting Lauryn Hill.
Who?
Everything is
that who Kate Bush was running up that Lauryn Hill?
After winter must come spring. Change comes eventually.
What is this?
Oh my God, you're ridiculous.
What song is this? What are you singing? Terrible. You're wrong. All these people are wrong. And the chat, Caden's got like 15 YouTube names apparently, just to come in here on the chat. All of you are wrong. Greatest singer-songwriter of all time. All time. Taylor Swift.
Man,
new album.
Alanis
New
Morissette did
album.
what Taylor Swift is doing now better.
Because she did one album? One?
Yep.
That album was good, I'm
Yep.
not going to lie. She did
Yep.
one.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift been doing this for years, SP3, decades. One album don't mean shit.
It does. It does when it's basically Taylor Swift's whole shtick is complaining and whining about people that broke up with her
Absolutely not.
or hurt
Absolutely.
her feelings.
No. She brings out the emotions. The emotions, SP3. You feel things when you listen to her music.
I felt things when
feel
I
it
listened to Miss
in your
Education of Lauryn
soul.
Hill.
And your bones. Your soul and your bones. You feel it when you hear her voice. You feel it. Yes, haters are going to hate. JJ. That song's playing at the wedding.
Oh, God.
We're going to dance. I taught all the kids the Shake It Off dance. It's gonna be great. We're going to do a whole choreography bit. Fantastic.
Oh, my God.
The wedding has been delayed until October 21st at 2 a.m. It's a wedding and a Taylor Swift Midnight's listening party now. Everybody's invited. Come out. Come enjoy the sweet, sultry sounds of the greatest singer-songwriter of all time, putting together the greatest album of all time. I've not heard a single song from this album. I don't need to hear a single song from this album. It's going to be the greatest of all time.
Will Chisholm is right. He's burying the culture for Taylor Swift.
He said bearing, not burying.
No, he meant burying.
Bearing.
No, you're burying the culture.
I don't know what
Taylor
burying
Swift
means. Like a grizzly
You're
bear.
burying. I'm his interpreter.
He wrote
burying.
bearing.
He
wrote
messed up.
bearing.
It's okay. It's okay.
Well, I can't take him serious if he messed up.
Oh, God.
I can't take him serious. All these people in the chat are wrong. All of you are wrong. Taylor Swift, the only singer-songwriter who matters. All of these other people, never heard of them. Don't listen to their music. Don't care to listen to their music. I'm sure it's awful. But, you know, you guys enjoy what you enjoy. I don't hate SP3's Frozen. I did not do this. He is frozen because he spoke ill of the greatest singer-songwriter of all time. And this is what happens. God struck him down on this show for trying to speak ill of Taylor Swift. Even God doesn't like people who are going to try to speak ill of Taylor Swift. This is what happens. God knows. God is up there right now. He is saying it. He's saying Jeremy's right. He's always been right. He gets it. SP3 is he's done on this show. This is what happens, everybody. Don't speak ill of Taylor Swift. All right? Just don't do it. SP3's gone. I didn't boot him. He booted himself when he decided to speak this nonsense that he's been speaking about these irrelevant singers and songwriters. This is just what happens. Don't do it. New Taylor Swift album. Cannot be more excited for this. Are you going to continue to speak ill of Taylor Swift? God struck you down on this show.
No, I left.
No, you got frozen. You were frozen for like 3 minutes and then you left because you had to get back in. But God said, don't do it. That was God's doing, not mine.
Are we done now?
Are you done?
Are you done burying the culture? Are you done disrespecting the soul of Michael Jackson? You're disrespecting an all-time great and Stevie Wonder. Ridiculousness. Lauryn Hill.
I don't know who these people are. I don't know who these people are. Never heard of them.
Can we move on now? Talk about new Laker great, new Laker legend, Patrick Beverley.
Everybody is invited to the wedding, October 21st, 2 a.m. It's more of a Taylor Swift listening party than a wedding at this point. Like, it's not really a wedding. It's just a Taylor Swift listening party. Getting a lot of messages from the fiance.
As you should. As you should. Keep them coming. Keep them coming with this ridiculousness. He is disrespected my entire childhood.
How are
great
you?
Singer-songwriters.
Would you like to speak ill of Taylor Swift? I will fight you on air right now.
Beat his ass.
SB3 says beat his ass. That doesn't happen. I'm not going to say that. That'll get me in trouble. People won't understand it. That's a bit. Don't come in here. Don't come in here. You saw what God did to SB3. You saw it. He's going to. You can't throw anything at me. Get out of here if you're going to disrespect Taylor Swift. Go listen to John Paul, Ringo, and Thomas. Yeah, Thomas. Go listen to him.
Oh, she's the only reason you know the names of the Beatles.
No, I know John Paul and Ringo. I don't know the fourth one is Thomas, I think. Jimmy? Is his name Jimmy? That's a made-up name. Yeah, nobody in the history has ever been called George. Name me one famous George.
George Michael.
Who?
George Michael.
The guy from Arrested Development?
That too. That's a great show. We should talk about that sometime.
That is a very good show.
It's a very great show. You remind me of an older, bitter Michael Cera.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not. I like Michael Cera. Is he like bitter?
No. I'm saying you're the older, bitter version.
Oh, fair, sure. Oh man! All right, I'm very excited for the new Taylor Swift album. As if you can't.
Apparently so. Apparently so.
I'm pumped, SB3. I'm pumped. New Taylor Swift music.
I hope there's some like Swiftie standard accounts that click on this video and just screen it and just clip you just going off.
Hell
disrespecting
yeah! I'm gonna
Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson.
Never heard of these people. Don't know who these people are. Oh man, you know who I do know, SV3, is Russell Westbrook. Speaking of people who are gonna fight other people, please defend. Please defend this trade for Patrick Beverley. You did a great job with Taylor Horton Tucker. You got a lot out of him. Yeah, big time move.
We said we were going to make big moves with THT. We held on to him for longer than we probably should have. And we made the big move that was needed, that was necessary, because as a member of the new media, I have to support their acquisition of another member of the new media, Patrick Beverley. They heard him on ESPN. He got all the clicks. The YouTube views, the ratings for First Take and Get Up, and all those shows were higher than ever before when Patrick Beverley was on there. And he said, and I quote, he was like a prophet, ladies and gentlemen, when Patrick Elliott Beverley went on air and he said, if I go to the Lakers tomorrow, we making the championship. Championship. You know why? Because he's got that grit. He's got that passion. He's got that defense that will get you injured and take you out of the playoffs. Oh, my bad. That's another guy that's on the team. So, this is a bigger sign. This is the big sign that Russell Westbrook ain't going to be here much longer. We're going to call up the Utah Jazz again, and we're going to be like, hey, Utah, we got a good old Russell Westbrook for you to get 1 year. It works with your rebuilding plan. 1 year, you're throwing this next year. It's pretty obvious. You're throwing next year. So call up them again, get Michael Conley, get Bogdanovich, get all the guys that they want to ship off, because they're going to send Donovan Mitchell to the Raptors or the Knicks. They ain't gonna send it to the Lakers because that's too much good wealth for the Lakers. So we'll get your Michael Conleys, we'll get your Bogdanoviches, and we will have assembled a defensive masterclass between Mr. 94 feet, Patrick Elliott Beverley, and top 5 MVP candidate, top 5 dead or alive, and that's just on one season, LP, Anthony Davis. And one of the greatest players of all time, top 5 dead or alive, LeBron James. Championship for the Lakers. It's going to be Lakers versus Celtics once again, back in the playoffs, back in the NBA Finals, thanks to Mr. 94 Feet, Patrick Elliott Beverley.
First off, I like your Jadakiss reference. Secondly, this is a stupid trade. If they are unable to trade Russell Westbrook, this is a very dumb trade. Very dumb trade. You're going to put Westbrook and Beverley on the same team when there's no evidence that they have squashed anything. Because Beverley was on these shows. You traded for a talking head hot take artist. Great job. They may as well have traded for you or me, SB3. They may as well have traded for you or me. Beverley was on these shows burying Westbrook over the summer. None of this is a good look. I don't think Beverley, by the way, is as good as people think he is at this point of his career. I don't know if you're doing a bit or not right now, but his three-point shooting was way down last season. Way down. It was like league average, which is fine, but he used to be like a way above average, which is good. Like that's what you want. Like right now, it's just like an average three-point shooter. But if you're advertised as a 3-and-D guy, you probably got to be more than an average three-point shooter. His defense, he run around and trick y'all. Right? He doesn't actually play defense. He's like not like a terrible defender. I'm not gonna go full Westbrook. He's not like a bad defender. I don't think he's as good as he's made out to be, because a lot of defense is just like based on reputation and like, oh, he used to be a good defender, so he's still a good defender. Like he's not. He's just not that good of a defender at this point in his career. I understand their point for trading for Patrick Beverley because they think he's a 3-and-D guy. They think he's going to help and they think he's going to fix problems. I think the headache, especially if Westbrook is around, is not worth it at all. Like those two are just gonna go at it. And I don't think they're gonna go at it in a good way. I think they're gonna go at it in a more detrimental way to the team. You see LeBron on Twitter, he's defending Westbrook. He's like, my guy's gonna go off this season. LeBron's probably thinking, yeah, he's gonna go off on another team. He ain't gonna be here. I still think their end game is to trade Westbrook. I don't know if they're able to trade Westbrook. If they're not, this is a bad move. This is a very bad move for the Lakers. Not on court. On court, 2K, drop this in 2K. Cool. It's a nice little pickup here. Off court, real life team chemistry. That team chemistry on that little slider on the team chemistry 2K, that shit went from 15 to 0. It was already low. They just completely nuked it. They gotta schedule them off days. They gotta schedule therapy sessions. They gotta schedule rest days. Whatever else you can schedule on that. No practice. Practice ain't building no chemistry because they're just gonna fight each other. They gotta schedule outings. Take them to the state fair. Take them to movies. You know, family fun time. This is the stuff they gotta schedule on their off days to build this team chemistry. Because practice ain't gonna build this chemistry.
I just love all the hate that's been coming from this deal here. You people don't see the greatness of Rob Pelinka. Of Rob Pelinka. Rob Pelinka is the former agent of Kobe Bryant. Rob Pelinka was the man that orchestrated the roster that we won a championship with in 2020. Rob Pelinka deserves more respect. He sees the bigger picture. We want to sell tickets, and what's going to sell better tickets than two teammates who want to fight each other?
Selling tickets.
Who want to fight each other? Two teammates who want to fight each other every single night. You know, when everybody was talking about the Miami Heat last year, it wasn't when they were a number 1 seed. It was when Udonis Haslem was about to box Jimmy Butler on the sideline. You know the Golden State Warriors. They were among the biggest draws in NBA during the last season. They were together with KD, Steph Curry, Draymond, and Klay Thompson. But you know when their ticket sales went even more after Draymond talked shit to KD, like, we don't need you, and they were about to box on the sideline. People love controversy. Controversy and conflict creates cash. And that's what Rob Pelinka is thinking about. We already got LeBron James, one of the biggest draws in the NBA in year 20, but we needed that extra boost, that extra boots of ticket sales because, the Celtics are coming, Kawhi's back on the Clippers. You got the Golden State Warriors, the NBA champions, Celtics rising to the top. They needed that extra boost. And we got that extra boost because conflict creates cash. We're going to be the highest selling basketball team out there. We're going to make the playoffs. We're going to go to the NBA finals as an 8th seed. We're going to have to go through the play-in. We're going to beat the number 1 seed. And we're going to go to the NBA finals. And we're going to burst the Boston Celtics. And we're going to beat them in 7 games because that's what we do. Just go back and watch 2010. The Lakers will win the NBA championship. We will win number 18, and I will be on here laughing at all of ya.
Give me your honest take on this. No bit. Give me your honest take on this Patrick Beverley trade.
This shit is awful. I was really baffled by this decision making because we held on to THT when we could have got Buddy Hield. We could have got all these other people.
They wouldn't trade him for Kyle Lowry. That was the big thing, right? Is like Kyle Lowry was supposed to be in the THT trade, and they were like, no,
and we didn't want to trade him.
Yeah.
I don't get it. This is a baffling decision. If we had traded Russell Westbrook first and then got Patrick Beverley, I wouldn't be as baffled and I would be closer to my original thoughts that I said on this air more than I would be, I'm somewhere in the middle of what I was just saying and what I'm saying right now. I'm somewhere in the middle, but I do understand the people who think it's baffling. I did think it was baffling. But as long as Russell Westbrook gets traded, at least by the trade deadline, I'm okay with this. I can live with this. And I'm not going to badmouth it like some people in the chat and like Jeremy Lambert, who immediately caught the vigor of the karma gods. The karma gods heard you laughing and talking your crap about my Los Angeles Lakers. And now the great Chet Holmgren that I spoke into existence on the OKC Thunder. I've been saying this from the beginning of this show that I think that the OKC Thunder should draft Chet Holmgren, and they drafted Chet Holmgren. And you know what happened to Chet Holmgren? He got injured. You know how he got injured? Playing a pickup game against who? Los Angeles Lakers forward LeBron James.
LeBron knew LeBron knew Chet was about to take his spot, and he's like, can't have this happen. That's what Beverly's going to do to Westbrook in practice. That's really why Patrick Beverley's there. He's a hired gun to take out Westbrook in practice so they don't have to play him. That's why he's there. My other mind, jokingly, is that LeBron traded for Beverley to inspire Russell Westbrook. Like we need to motivate you this season. What better way to motivate you than bringing Patrick Beverley to keep talking shit all game? That's going to backfire because Beverley or Westbrook's going to take it personal and he's going to, take all of his shots and try to be Russell Westbrook of 6 years ago. And he ain't Russell Westbrook of 6 months ago. So that ain't going to end very well. As far as Chet Holmgren.
Great lines in FMC history. You're going to try to be Russell Westbrook of 6 years ago. He ain't Russell Westbrook of 6 months ago. That's great. That was great.
The Chet Holmgren injury is very unfortunate. On one hand, it helps our tanking odds for next year, and we can get Victor Wembanyama. I can't say his last name. Maybe I should start to learn.
Wembanyama.
Him. We can get him.
I'm so good at this. I'm so good at this. Well, even if you don't get Wembanyama, who is kind of seems like the foregone conclusion, number 1 overall pick. Money Bates, even though his stock has kind of gone down in the last couple of months, that would be good. I think that would fit your team a little bit more.
I don't know if we need another tall, skinny guy who's who's obviously very good at basketball. But look, at the end of the day, you draft best player overall, like especially with a consensus number one pick like him. I do think it obviously it hurts. It hurts the timeline of things. I don't think the Thunder were going to be good this year, mind you. Like, I don't think they were going to actively try to tank like a lot of people thought. It's just they're a young team. There are much better teams in front of them. That's really what it came down to. It's not even that they were like going to attempt to tank and throw games or whatever. That doesn't happen. It's just their best players are in their first, second, third year, and it's a team with a lot of new pieces and a lot of moving parts. It just wasn't going to be a good team. It's a team that's clearly on the come up, has a lot of talent. They just weren't going to be very good. It sets that timeline back now because Chet's going to miss an entire season of basketball. He's going to miss an entire season of playing with Shea, of playing with Giddey, developing that chemistry, developing a rhythm, developing just being in the NBA. Like, he's going to miss all of that. And that's the unfortunate part of all of this, is it sets the timeline back a year. And now when he comes back, let's say by some chance they end up with Victor. Like, then you have to try to include Chet into the game plan. Now you have to include Victor into the game plan. Like, it's going to be a lot when he eventually comes back next season. And it just sets everything back a year. Does it help their tanking odds this year? Yes. They're not going to be as good this year without somebody like Chet Holmgren. But it is very unfortunate. I was looking forward to watching OKC play because he was an exciting new piece. And I wanted to see how these guys were going to grow together and everything. And now it's like, you're just kind of running back the same team as last year. We got new people. We got the two Jalen's in there. So I'm interested to watch them. I'm interested just to see like the growth of Shea, the growth of Giddey and everything. But overall, it sets things back. And that sucks. It's another lost season in OKC. And unfortunately now we don't have the growth and the excitement of our number 2 overall pick to try to, ease the pain a little bit of another just, all right, losing season.
I don't know how you feel, because I haven't lost as much as you lost. Like, I actually know the feeling of seeing my team, my NBA team, win a championship. I know you had that, that solace that you had a Stanley Cup winning team, but it must be because you're a big NBA fan. As much as you're an NHL fan, you're a big NBA fan. And it must be like torture watching your team lose as much. So I understand why you hate on successful teams like the Los Angeles Lakers so much, because it's that bitterness. It's that bitterness, Michael Cera, that you're just putting out into the world, and you're like the Knicks fans. I deal with Knicks fans all the time. Knicks fans are utterly miserable. My mom was a young fragile flower when the Knicks won a championship in the early 70s, and now we're going on 50 years since. This is going to be the 50th year since the Knicks won a championship, and it seems like the OKC Thunder is going to go down that same route of never winning a championship for 50 years.
Please don't compare us to Knicks fans. At least we know our team's not going to be good. Like, we know it. Like, I have no disbelief of like, this is our year. We're going to make the playoffs. Things are going to be great. Even when we had Chet, it's like, maybe I could talk myself into like a play-in game that we lose, but I really couldn't. I don't think the team would have been good enough then. I have no expectations. I'm not out here acting like we're going to be great and then it all blows up. We're not going to be good. It sucks. What can you do? You just hope that next year is better and everyone's healthy. Ban injuries. We're good. This is what matters. Hockey is always going to be ahead of basketball. Always. Hockey was my first favorite sport. It was.
Now this.
Hockey's always been my favorite sport.
And to A-Shock in the chat, you can't be a sore winner. The Lakers are just horrible winners because we talk so much shit when we win. You could be a horrible winner, can't be a sore winner because there's nothing sore about it. There's nothing sore about it. We're happy, but we can be obnoxious when we're happy. Think you're happy. And we're winning.
I don't think there's real happiness there.
Yes. It's always real happiness. Every time I've seen a Laker championship win, it's been utter happiness for my soul. You know what's worse than not making the playoffs? Is making the NBA finals and losing. I would say, I agree. I went through the post Kobe injury years of the
Yeah.
Lakers. I felt fine not making the playoffs and rebuilding because I was just like, I mean, we're not supposed to win. We're not supposed to be there. I had no expectations. Do you know what's the worst feeling that I've had after an NBA season? 2004, making it to the NBA Finals with old ass mailman Karl Malone, fuck him, and the old ass glove, the glove with all the stitching out of
Bunch of
it,
holes in
Gary
it.
Payton.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant in his prime, who was dropping like 40 every single night, and a banged up Shaquille O'Neal. And I still thought we were going to win the NBA Finals. And we went against a team that had no real superstars on it in the Detroit Pistons, and we lost. That was, I will admit, I was 16 years old, and I freaking cried. I cried because I was surrounded by family that talk shit to me. Family, my cousin talking shit to me. Then I left my sister's house where my cousins were at, where my nephews were at. My nephews were Laker fans, so they wouldn't talk shit. But it was my cousins talking shit. And then I went home, and my stepdad, a Knicks fan, talk shit to me as well. He was like, oh, your Lakers lost. I was like, I didn't come home for this. I didn't come home for this. This is where the first thought of me leaving home before I was 18 ever came into fruition, is when I came home thinking that I could get away from all the trash talking, and I still got more trash talking from my stepdad. I'll never forget it. The most miserable season of my life was when the Lakers made it to the finals and we didn't win.
I 100% agree with you that like making it that far and not winning is far worse than like missing the playoffs. Because if you miss the playoffs, fine, like it's a lost season, but then like no one cares after that. I mean, the Lakers are a little bit different this past year because they have LeBron James, and if you miss the playoffs with LeBron James, that's kind of a big deal. And Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, but like that's sort of a big deal. But if you have no expectation, like the Knicks fans talked a lot of shit and then missed the playoffs. It's like, yeah, well, they just kind of suck. Whatever. It's far, far worse when your team makes it that far and then they end up losing. I mean, I can bring up just 2016 in general. Panthers in the Super Bowl lost. Thunder blowing a 3-1 lead. Like just awful to make it that far. This is why I was so afraid of the Avs this year. Of like, I'm just gonna pretend they've already lost. Like we're not making it. We're not doing anything. It's over. We've lost. Like I refuse to talk myself into winning because it's just easier to deal with. Because had they made it to the finals and lost, it just would have been hell. I don't talk a lot of shit, so I hope that like people don't talk shit on me, but people are still going to do it. Like, if they know that's your team, people are still going to be like, oh, that's your team. You suck. They suck. That's why I just block people. It's like, fuck them. Like, I ain't dealing with that shit.
It wasn't even social media for me.
You should have blocked your family, SP3. You should have just blocked them all.
It wasn't even social media. And that's why I say that what y'all call the Mickey Mouse champion in 2020, it counts. You know why? Because if Miami would have beat us, y'all would have all been still talking shit about my Lakers. Oh, you guys were the number 1 seed. It doesn't matter if it was just in a pandemic. Miami Heat, they overcame it all. They beat Boston, they beat Milwaukee, they beat the Lakers. Y'all would have still been talking. So don't tell me the championship doesn't count to y'all because the Lakers won it. That's why. Let's be real. It
doesn't. It's a Mickey Mouse championship. Good on LeBron that he
ridiculousness. You guys are ridiculous.
How do we think the Nets are gonna do this year? Real quickly, the fiance says you were miserable when they won. 100% I was, because I just assumed they were going to lose. Oh yes, I was completely miserable, literally until the final milliseconds of Game 6 when they actually won. I was completely miserable. I know this. I'm terrible to deal with during this time. She asked me the other week. She's like, well, now that they won, like, is next season going to be like easier in the playoffs? Like, you're going to be like, oh, it's okay. You got a championship out of it. Like, he's just not going to take it as hard. It's very honest. And I was just like, I did almost block Caden. Katie, you're trying to message me during games. You're like, oh, are we talking hockey? Like, nobody is supportive. Nobody is supportive.
I was supportive.
No, when the game is going on.
Yeah, I wasn't awake.
When the game is going on, nobody is actually supportive. And I love my fiance more than anything in the world. Bless her, she just like sits there and like she talks a little bit. She's like semi-supportive in that she just kind of gets like how I'm going to be. On Twitter, none of you idiots are supportive. I love all of you. None of you are supportive when the actual game's going on and you message me. Like, it doesn't matter what you're replying to, even if it's like, it'll be okay. Even if it's like good win, you're not actually being supportive. None of you. You're all great. You're all idiots. But she asked me, like, is it going to be okay now that you won a title and everything? And I'm like, I would like to say, like, yes, that like the next season, it could be like, oh, we lost in the second round. It's okay. We won last year. It's cool. We got our championship. Yeah, you're shaking your head. And I'm like, yeah, I would like to say that. I'd like to pretend that's what's going to happen. I already know when the playoffs roll around and like we have expectations of like repeating and everything, I'm going to be just as miserable.
Because that's the thing. Miserable. That's the thing. When you win a championship, now the expectations are there. When you make it far, even if you're a number one seed, people expect you to do well. That's one thing. But when you win a championship and then going into the next season, no, the pressure is even more. That's why the greatest season that I ever saw as a kid or as an adult is the 2001 NBA playoffs, and 2002 for that matter, and the 2010 season. All those seasons when the Lakers won back-to-back or three-peated, those are my favorite seasons to watch because the expectation was high. Everybody was gunning for us. Everybody wanted to talk crap about us. If we lost one game in a playoff series, I tell you, I've never heard more crap being talked about my Lakers than when the Sacramento Kings was up 3-2 to us. Thank you to that referee who took the payoff. Thank you. But I never heard so much crap in my life outside of that. I heard even more crap from my friend. One of my friends, he's from Rhode Island. He's a Celtics fan. He was talking so much crap going into that playoffs. Even though they had injuries going in, he was like, we're still gonna beat y'all. So I had the satisfaction of seeing my Lakers beat the Celtics too for back-to-back championships, solidifying Kobe's legacy. Greatest feelings in the world.
I don't think expectations are as high for us this season because we did like our second line's kind of a mess right now. We'll see what happens, but they're still high. When you're a championship team and you're returning more or less your core, we lost our second line center, but we're still returning like our best players and our best line and everything. Like when you're like, they're still going to be high. So, and if you sleepwalk through the regular season, people just expect you to turn it up in the playoffs. And then if you have a great regular season, then you're still expected to just go far in the playoffs. I'm not putting too much into the regular season. We'll see. I'll enjoy the games. I'll have fun. I'm going to be miserable. She says you can't win every year. They should. Life would be a lot easier if that was the case. I understand as a Browns fan, you're not used to winning anything. So you just got to kind of let me have this and sorry that my team wins. I understand as a Browns fan, you're just used to misery. Now I'm used to a little bit of success. So now it's going to be more difficult.
Damn.
It's going to be difficult.
Tough.
Browns are eating shrooms on the sidelines just to get through the. Did you see this? Did you see this, SB3? Oh, let me pull this up. Hold on. I'll get this picture.
I bet he had a good time. Whoever was eating the shrooms on the sideline had a good time.
Let me pull this up. I think it was A Shock. Real quick, I wanna answer this. I think it was A Shock. Oh, go ahead.
A Shock is just comment. Just one time, the Suns should win the NBA championship. How about you get rid of Chris Paul? Maybe you do that. Maybe you do that. Maybe you won't choke. Maybe you won't choke. All that stuff you talking about the Lakers, and you're a Suns fan? A Suns fan? How many times you had to see your team choke? You guys choked against. You guys have choked in the different eras that are in NBA 2K. Yeah, choked in the Jordan era.
Did they choke in the Jordan?
Yeah, choked in the Kobe era. Yeah, choked in the modern era.
Did they choke? Okay, all right. Did they choke in the Jordan era? Like Charles Barkley, he's like Jordan's just God. What are you gonna do?
He was the MVP. He was the MVP.
But they gave him the MVP much the same reason they gave Karl Malone the MVP. They were just like, we're tired of giving it to Jordan. That's all that was. Choke. That's all that was. The Suns, the 7 seconds or less Suns is like my favorite team of all time. Like non Thunderbird shit. They're probably better than or more fun than the Thunder versions. Some of those teams are miserable. But Steve Nash, I don't know how many people know this, but for anyone who doesn't know, Steve Nash is like my favorite, like non-Thunder, non-Jordan favorite player of all time. Love Steve Nash. Absolutely love him. It's a shame he's stuck with Kevin Durant trying to coach him and Kyrie Irving trying to coach them in the NBA. So like the 7 seconds less or Suns are one of my favorite teams. And that's the team that got me back into basketball. Like after the Jordan stuff, like I'd watch from afar. That's a team that really brought, like, did that team really choke? Like, I don't think people thought of them as championships. I know Steve Nash won 2 MVPs, but I don't think people really saw them
he shouldn't have.
As championship.
I'll give him one. I'll give him one. I'll give him one of those.
Yeah, I
MVPs.
Understand.
He shouldn't have won back-to-back.
I understand. But like they may have beaten the Spurs if Amari doesn't get suspended. Like that whole thing. Like I don't know if that team actually choked. Like the Chris Paul Suns the past couple of seasons, I can't really defend that one. I can't defend that Suns team because they should have beat the Mavericks. The Bucks, you were up 2-0. You were up 2-0 on the Bucks. Like the Bucks are a good team. The Bucks are a good team. You should have beat the Mavericks. At least make the conference finals there. At least make the conference finals there. All right.
Choke artists. They've choked in 3 different eras. 3 different eras. My lord.
Ace Shock asked, without being in character, other than Taylor Swift, who are some of your favorite artists to listen to? I'm not gonna lie, I listen to just a lot of shit that I grew up listening to. Like I'll still listen to some Marshall Mathers, new and old, although some of the newer stuff is that double time rap. I'm just like, can we not? Yeah. Can we just
I can't follow that too?
Yeah.
It was great in Rap God, but when he kept doing it, I was
like now it's like every track. It's like, come on, dude. Like I know you got more skills than this. Can we just not do double time rap every single time? But I'll still listen to a lot of that. A lot of the artists you guys actually mentioned, I do like. I think I muted you, Ace Shock, for saying Rihanna. Here's a hot take for you. And no bit. I truly believe this. Rihanna's better than Beyonce. I 100% in my soul believe that. I will listen to some of the bangers Rihanna's got over some of the stuff. Lemonade, good album. Like overall complete package, good album. Rihanna just got bangers though, like just hits that I will listen to over and over again. Like I'll listen to Rihanna. I really listen to just like a lot of just Taylor Swift and Eminem because those are my 2 favorites, and I'm just gonna keep listening to them. The new stuff, I don't listen to. I do like Olivia Rodrigo. I do like her. The very like young Taylor Swift, just like let me write about boys who have wronged me. Love that shit. It's great. SB3 mentioned Alanis. I mean, Jagged Little Pill was a classic. I do love that album. I listen to like a lot of the old school kind of rap, like Shady Aftermath era, 50 Cent, Dr. Dre.
Oh yeah,
I
still listen to that. Tony Yayo.
I wrote an article about Tony Yayo.
I know. I saw that. I was like, you took me back. Oh, nigga, do you know what this is? Oh man, that took me back. Yeah, but G-Unit, I still listen to a lot of stuff that I grew up with. Like there's albums that will never get old to me. Get Rich or Die Trying. Be Ready to Die, like you said, Eminem, Marshall Mathers LP, Eminem Show. I will listen to those tracks until I'm probably old, and my kids are like, "What is this? What is this old stuff you're listening to?" It was like, "This was a banger, man. This is one of the greatest albums of all time. No skips." Yeah, Jay-Z. I will listen to
classic Jay-Z.
Yeah, classic Jay-Z. I would listen to the only one that's like a later album of Jay-Z's that I listen to is like American Gangsta, maybe. That's like
Yeah,
the
that's got
last
some
one
nice
that
tracks on it though.
yeah.
That's got a
Yeah.
couple. That's got a couple of hits on there.
Yeah.
Caden says, "Where's it at? What team did I support before OKC? I was a Bulls fan, just a Jordan fan, and then once Jordan left, I didn't really support anybody. And then I like the Suns, and I like Steve Nash, but I wasn't like full support. I don't have any Suns gear or anything. I just like the team, and I like Steve Nash. I did buy that book that was written about them. That was really good. And then I liked OKC just because I understood they were Seattle beforehand. I got that, but then they moved to Oklahoma City, and it felt like a new franchise. And it felt like a new franchise because it was just a lot of young players. So it's not like it was like, hey, we relocated, but then we still have all these old holdovers from Seattle. It felt just like a new team. So I was like, and I like Kevin Durant when I was in college. So I was just like, I like Durant. I'll kind of just support where he's at, and it feels like a new team. So I just kind of became a Thunder fan.
I tried telling Portland, choose your Durant. Don't go with Odin. Everyone was talking about Odin. I was like, yo, Odin is old as hell in college. What you drafting him number 1 for? Always messed up.
The fiance says, I've got you listening to great. Her music screams at me, SP3. Like it just yells. I don't understand it. Just the other day, she's like cleaning. She's like cleaning and just like I can hear it. She does listen to that. She does listen to System of a Down. I don't mind that song, Chop Suey. But like she listens to this other stuff. It's just like, I don't get these lyrics. She's in the other room. And I just hear the music screaming at me. It's like, why are they so angry at me? I didn't do anything wrong. Why are they so mad at me? JJ mentioned Shakira. Shakira fucking rules. All right? Hips don't lie. That's a banger. We're playing that at the wedding. Do some belly dancing, you know. Nobody wants to see that, but that's oh man, that's a karaoke song for me. I'm not even joking. Like I'll listen to that at a karaoke, or I'll do that karaoke. Kevin Durant staying SP3. You excited?
I'm ecstatic. KD is gonna be working with my family, Kyrie, and they're gonna finally make it to the conference finals, ladies and gentlemen. They're finally gonna do it. They're finally gonna win a playoff series together. Wow. KD and Kyrie. Now, honestly, this is no bit. This is no joke. I think they're one of the strongest teams in the East. If they're healthy and they're playing, they can be a top 4 seed in the East.
Okay, like I don't disagree that they're a top 4 seed. Like on paper, yes. I don't know what this team actually like looks like and does, because Durant and Kyrie, a lot of your turn, my turn stuff. Like we saw that a lot last year. You factor in Ben Simmons, who's not played basketball in a year. How does he fit in? I don't even know the pieces they have around this team. I guess Joe Harris is back and he's going to play. I think they traded for Royce O'Neal. Like that's a nice little pickup. I feel like they traded for him. I could be completely off base on that. That was the Brian Windhorst meme. I should probably like look this up and see if that was the team who actually acquired Royce O'Neal. Let's see. Yeah, Brooklyn Nets. Okay. So I like the Royce O'Neal pickup. On paper, not a bad team. Honestly, like not a bad team on paper. Money Mark says Seth Curry. Okay. None of this. This is not a bad team at all. But this is where it comes into the team chemistry thing. Like, how does this shake out if Durant is unhappy and they start losing games? What kind of page are him and Kyrie on? What happens if Ben Simmons wants to sit out some games? What happens if Ben Simmons just ain't very good anymore? And I don't think that's going to be the case, mind you. I think Ben Simmons will still be like a good basketball player. But how does he integrate? There's still a lot of question marks around Brooklyn. I like the team on paper. I mean, you got Kevin Durant. What happens if Durant gets injured again? And then you just have Kyrie trying to just carry the scoring. Like there's a lot of question marks around this team still. Are they top 4? Yeah, Boston, Milwaukee. Those are the only teams that I'm very comfortable saying they are better than Brooklyn. Miami is
Go Miami.
Yeah, I can understand Miami. it's not like Miami has question marks. I'm just not like super sold on them as like a high powered team. And I understand they made the conference finals last year and they made the finals a couple years ago, and like they have a good team on paper. And like I think Spoelstra's like top 2 coach in the league. I don't know. Miami, I don't know how sustainable they're going to be from last year. That's kind of my issue with Miami. Is I just don't know how sustainable that's going to be. Philly, they're going to be there. I don't know how much Harden has left, but Embiid's great. They made some good like little minor moves, even though trying to run back Houston from 5 years ago when these guys are all 5 years older is a little questionable. And I don't know how much Harden has left in the tank. I'm not like super comfortable putting Philly above them. The only 2 teams I'm comfortable is Milwaukee and Boston. Those are the 2 teams where I'm like, yeah, they're better than Brooklyn. After that, the teams I just mentioned, Miami, Brooklyn, and Philly, like those teams are all right there kind of in that mix as who could be the third best team.
Yeah, and we might be completely wrong and have someone like, the Bulls or the Raptors like sneak into the top 4. But yeah, on paper going into this next season, I think the Nets will be a top 4 seed. It really depends on what Ben Simmons we get. If we get the Ben Simmons of 2-3 years ago, I think they'll be fine. They don't need to count on him to really deliver in the playoffs. All he has to do in the playoffs really is play good defense and just shoot the ball when he's open under the basket. That's all he has to do. He didn't do against the Atlanta Hawks 2 years ago, but I think that he's going to be better this year, and I think that the Nets have a...
Well, he didn't play last year. It can't be worse.
Well, this is true. But I just think that the team is going to play better than they did last year with Ben Simmons involved, with Kyrie playing more often. They don't have to deal with all this other stuff that they've been dealing with a healthy Kevin Durant. I'm not going to go on a limb that I did last year and I said Kevin Durant was going to be MVP. You fooled me once, shame on me. You can't fool me again. It's not going to happen again. I'm not going to do that. But I think KD is going to be better. The 2 teams in the East that I think is going to be better than them for sure is Milwaukee, Boston for sure. I agree with you there. I think Miami is going to be better than them as well. So that's why I say that they're going to be a top 4 seed. I think the Sixers is the only one that will deny them for that 4th spot, because I think the Sixers, a full year of Harden and Embiid, might be, better and have better chemistry with each other and have a better rhythm that they developed over, the last year, the last half of last season, as well as during the off season and training camp. They're going to have more rhythm with each other. They're going to blend very well. The Bulls, I feel like, might be the New York Knicks of this coming season, where the Knicks 2 years ago made the playoffs. Everybody was like, man, the Knicks got a great future. And then they turned around and not make the playoffs this last season. I could see the Bulls going in that direction. For when we do our NBA preview, I might have the Bulls in the top 10. So at least at a play-in seed, or maybe even a low playoff seed. But I have no real faith in the Bulls too much. But the East is very interesting, but not as interesting as the West. I think the West is going to be a lot of shuffling. I think the Golden State Warriors should be known as the favorite, but the Clippers have gotten better. The T-Wolves have gotten better. So yeah, the Grizzlies are still growing as a team. I think Dallas, if Luka gets better, the whole team's going to get better. We saw that last season. So yeah, all the West is going to be a lot of shuffling around of what we saw last season going into this season.
We will have our big NBA preview in a couple of weeks, really. It's the end of August. Coming up quickly here. Coming up very quickly. Here's this picture, by the way, of Browns players just deciding, let's just eat some shrooms on the sideline. It's not 100% confirmed that this is drugs. I just want to make that very clear. But there's something there,
Hey, that looks like some weed. It looks like some weed right there.
It does. My friend who he's been on the show, Sammer, he says that these look kind of like shrooms. I'm not saying Sammer is a drug expert. I'm not saying I condone what Sammer does. I am saying Sammer likes to have fun, though. And if anyone would know, I would trust his opinion on this stuff. So,
Hey, I'm not saying I've taken shrooms before, but it does look like shrooms. That's all I will say.
Yes, the Cleveland Browns, bless them. Challenge, SB3, challenge. It's an individual game. I'm trying to pull up the draft. It's an individual game now. The algorithm is Dunzo. You know who's not Dunzo? Enzo, not Dunzo.
Hey, I got one person who survived the elimination. I'm happy about that. But the reason why I had my hands on my head is my lord, I think she's my last woman in this whole draft. Sarah came off the worst in this episode. Like, I've never been so frustrated with someone watching the challenge that I've been with her, because she was just out of control. Like, she was so desperate to make her money. She wanted to go against Enzo, and it's just like, that makes no sense. What are you doing? You're gonna go into elimination, what, to just, oh, I can be the first woman who's gone against a man in elimination. That's not true. That's not true. Like, why do you have people that are going with this nonsensical argument? Because none of these people in this season have watched the challenge before. The first ever season 7, the Gauntlet, that had eliminations. You had Sarah in that season. She beat men in the very first elimination that ever happened on a season of the challenge. You don't even have to go that far into the history. Season 32, Final Reckoning. Cam and Kaylee defeated Kyle and Brad in one of the more improbable upsets in challenge elimination history. Sarah was god awful. Like, I honestly wanted to release her from my challenge team after watching this episode, because I've never been this frustrated with someone watching this, because nothing she said made any damn sense. Thankfully, one of my other draftees, Ben, won and was just like, this makes no sense for your game. It makes no sense for my game. I'm not doing it.
First off, great piece of trivia and challenge knowledge there, SB3. Much appreciated. With Sarah, I do wonder. I legitimately think she wanted to go in. She's got to get money. She's got to get money to qualify for the final, because it ain't there.
But even if she beat Enzo, she wouldn't qualify. He didn't have enough money.
Well, you still got to get money somehow. You got to figure out a way. I'm pretty sure. I don't watch the next week stuff. It feels like Sarah's going to go in next week. Like, whatever happens, unless she wins, obviously. If she wins the daily, then that's one thing. But otherwise, like, it feels like she's going in next week. I do wonder how much, like, she would have been able to go in if it wasn't Hall Brawl. Like, I wonder if the producers were like, hey, it's Hall Brawl. Like, we ain't send you in here for this. If it's a puzzle or some type of like climbing challenge or whatever, it's like, yeah, sure. There's no like physical disadvantage on this kind of stuff. But Hall Brawl, you can't really send Sarah in there again, because Enzo murdered Leo in this thing.
But even if it wasn't Hall Brawl, you got to understand, like, what if this week was like a puzzle and they allowed that? What stops them from the next week if Alyssa is the last person in there, what's going to stop a Tyson or a Danny from being like, oh, send me in there against Alyssa. You let Sarah go against Enzo, send me in there. Let me get my money by beating Alyssa in an elimination. Like, it would have threw off everything. It would have ruined everything. That's why it was the most nonsensical argument I've ever heard on a season of the challenge.
That's fair. I mean, I'm with you on that. I still wonder if it was some type of puzzle. But you're right. Like, then you set a precedent of, okay, so can guys throw themselves in there against girls? Like, that, it'd have to continue to just be puzzles and just non-physical competitions, essentially, to try to even the playing field. Because you can't do any type of like physical. Can do a pole wrestle between Tyson and Angela. And no offense to Angela, that probably ain't ending well for her. It's not. So yeah, I understand. Like, you can't set that precedent. Look, she tried. It didn't work. She did come off terrible though. Like she was whiny. You just win a challenge. Just win a challenge. And she can't do it. She can't do it.
Like,
SB3.
I was on her side after, Tyson threw her in, and I understand her beef with like Angela, but how dare you? How dare she came off bad from the instinct. The first confessional Jay gave her, she's like, yeah, Angela hasn't really proven herself yet. She's been carried by other people that are a partner, and this is her first time. This is my best Sarah impersonation that I can do. This is her first time. She can really prove herself to me, and she lost. She lost, ladies and gentlemen. Spoiler alert, she lost to Angela. They were the top two, and Angela was faster than her in the daily. And that's why I was totally with Angela after hearing about Sarah trying to politic to get into the simulation. She was just like, Sarah, how about you win a daily? How about you focus on that? Maybe that's just what you should do to get your money.
So Leo is gone. It was Leo and Enzo it was a hall brawl, and Enzo just ran through this man. He completely ran through this man. I almost felt bad for Leo, except I don't really care about him. And he's not on my team either. So Cher has lost Leo. Enzo still alive for you. My female side still looking strong. So I'm in a good spot. Next week we do have females. It'd be good if like two of mine are not pitted against each other. We'll see. But if I can survive next week, I'll be feeling very good about things. But we'll see how that goes. That was another good episode though. That was another good episode. We got Hall Brawl for the first time in the in this iteration of the challenge. One person you mentioned, like Sarah, doesn't watch the challenge or anything. You know who does watch the challenge? SB3, who's on the show. You know who watches the challenge with his wife Kiki? He made sure. Wife Kiki. Yeah, he made sure to mention he watches the challenge with his wife Kiki.
I was shocked because I think his first confessional of this episode, he didn't say his wife Kiki. I was like, oh my god, he didn't say it. He didn't say it. He didn't say his catchphrase.
I swear it's a bit at this point. I swear, like, they don't use any of his confessional footage unless he mentions Kiki. They're like, oh no, you didn't say Kiki. We can't use that footage. Like, I swear it's a bit at this point.
I think it is a bit because one of the like reviewers that I watched after I finished watching the episode, he's mentioned that on his season of Survivor, he never mentioned his wife Kiki. So he feels like when he went home, his wife like badgered that into him. Oh, you never even mentioned me. You never even mentioned me. So now that he's on the challenge, he has to mention her every freaking confessional. My wife Kiki, my wife Kiki, my wife Kiki, my wife Kiki. She made me jump off the cliff. And
this is what we got to do when we're tag teaming on the circle SB3. We just got to continue to give shouts to our significant others, or else they're just never going to use our footage, or we're going to come home and they're like, how come you didn't mention us? Like, sorry, fuck, my bad. That's how we gotta do it. A-Shot, you can ask a wrestling question. It's fine. If it comes from the chat, it's okay. I don't know if we'll answer it, but you can ask it.
Feel free.
Yeah. Caden's here. I don't know what the fuck he wants to talk about, but it looks like his camera is awful. I'm not going to keep him on very long. If you have that UK SB3 internet, that's
if he ain't talking about his wife Kiki, I don't want to hear it.
What do you want, Caden?
This might be a complete train wreck.
It already is. The video is terrible. I don't know how the audio is going to be. You look like you're in a fun place. A little bit. Can you hear us?
I can hear y'all.
Okay.
I am in Disney World.
Oh, that's great, Caden. I have terrible memories. I have terrible memories of Disney World. I do not want to relive them. So Great job, Caden. Have a good
He
time.
didn't even mention his wife Kiki.
I hope nobody breaks up with you at Disney World, Caden. Enjoy. A-Shock, bro. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Caden just giving me flashbacks of PTSD here, and I'm not about that. Not about that. Caden, you can leave.
It.
You've upset me.
I respect it. I respect it. I respect it.
He's upset me.
You did mention you watched F-Boy Island
Yeah.
last night. While I watched the 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After with my significant other. And Big Ed is back on TV. That's all yes, Big Ed is back. He's with his fiance. He's doing nude massages. He comes out nude with his tummy out, and they're blanking out his private parts. Big Ed is back on television, and I've never been happier.
This sounds awful. I'm glad Big Ed is back because Big Ed is one of the greatest television characters of all time. Seems very creepy guy. I don't know how up and up he is, but like as far as like good television goes, yeah, he's there. He is there. Very good television character.
The first line he says, Jeremy, he's with his new fiance, and he's like, she's mentioning like, yeah, our sex life is so much better now. He says, yeah, she calls me daddy sometimes.
Oh, this fucking guy. This guy, man. I'm happy Big Ed is back. I'm happy for you, SP3. I don't know if I'll ever catch up on the 90 Day Fiance universe. Way too much just going on. Way too many shows out there. But for the 90 Day Fiance fans, good that Big Ed is there because he's great television. He's great television. He is.
So Caden, tell me about F-Boy Island.
Oh, real quickly, Caden, they shouldn't have let you in to Disney World. They shouldn't.
You don't meet the height requirement for any of the rides. Like, what are we doing?
That hair he does. His hair is very thick. Thick hair. So F-Boy Island. Do you know the premise of this show, SP3? Have I explained the premise of the show? Oh, okay. No. So here's the premise. They got these 3 women, and then they go to this island. And I don't remember how many people there are, but let's say for argument's sake, there's 20. And like half of them are nice guys, and half of them are fuck boys. And the women have to basically like weed out who is who, and they pick one at the end of like who they want to be with and everything. And like some of the fuck boys are trying. There's this guy this season. He got eliminated first episode. His name was Lukash. Lukash was his name. And he's a fuck boy, but he tried to play as a nice guy. And he tried to play like, I'm a homeschooled pianist. I just had my first kiss last year. I'm still a virgin. Like, I felt so bad for this guy. I was like, oh, this poor guy. Like, he just wants to be loved. Like, he's been homeschooled. Like, he's been homeschooled his whole life. Like, this guy's never gotten laid or anything. Now, fiance is like always nervous. Like, he's very good at playing like nervous. He's like, oh yeah. Like, he was so good. Fiance is like, he's probably never been around like a beautiful woman. Like he's got 3 beautiful women with him. He's like probably never been around women as beautiful before. Like, he's just very nervous and everything. And he gets eliminated because the women were scared off by like the virgin and first kiss kind of thing. So he played it like too far into the nice guy realm. But then like when he gets eliminated, you reveal like, okay, is he an F boy or is he a nice guy? He's like, oh, I'm a fuck boy. I'm going back to LA. I got a roster full of women. And like, girl, if you want to be on it when you come back, like, let me know. We can hook up and everything. I was like, no, Lucas. I was feeling so bad for you. Lucas. These men are the worst men in the entire world. Like they're legitimate fuck boys. They're just trying to like fuck with these women and just trying to like fuck them literally. And they're trying to win the money and everything. Just the worst, most terrible human beings in the world. And it makes for great television. The first season is like some of the best trash reality TV of all time. And like, we haven't been watching a lot of trash reality over the summer. We watched just like reruns of Schitt's Creek and 30 Rock. We just went through like the series of those. So last night,
Oh man, we need to talk about Schitt's Creek because that's one of my favorite TV shows of all time.
We'll talk about Schitt's Creek. I got a lot of Schitt's Creek stories. Hold on. Oh yeah. So the fiance's messaged me and says, tell SB3 that if the girl picks a nice guy, they split the 100K, but if she picks a fuck boy, then the fuck boy can take the money. And so I won't spoil anything of what happened in season 1. So if people want to watch season 1, but yeah, that's like the big thing at the end. So the fuck boy, like he can take the money or he can split it with the girl, and like he makes that decision. So it's basically like, has the fuck boy changed? Or was he just here to win the money? Like that's kind of the thing. Just the worst humans in the world. The absolute worst humans. And we hadn't watched a lot of trash. And so I'm like Googling, what are some good trash reality television? And like Fuckboy Island came up on this list. I was like, well, we watched season 1, but I was like, when is this coming back? It's got to be coming back soon. And then I Googled and I saw that like season 2, the full season is already out there. I was like, I just got the biggest smile on my face. Like she's on her computer doing stuff. I'm just like, there's a huge grin. And she's like, what's up? And I turned on HBO Max and she's like, Fuckboy Island, is it back? And I'm like, yes, we were so excited for that. This show is back. So go watch Fuckboy Island, everybody. Great, terrible reality television. Everyone watches this stuff. It's fantastic.
We'll watch it. We took your recommendation for Too Hot to Handle, and we ran through all 3 seasons of that. So yeah, when we're back in the States and we have HBO Max, we're watching F-Boy Island. We have new material to watch because we don't know. Well, 90 Days, they have 90 Day Happily Ever After with Big Ed, and they also have 90 Day Fiance UK out here, which is almost as horrible. It gives you very much like first seasons of like they got this one guy who's going out with this woman from like I think she's from like Asian Pacific or something, some Spanish country, and her son looks full on Spanish, like all his other siblings, all the other kids that she had before him. And she's apparently made this guy from the UK who's South African, white guy who's like chubby, made him think that this kid is his when the kid looks nothing like him at all. Like it's over. Me and the missus watch this and we're always like, that ain't your kid. Get a paternity test. That ain't your kid. Like, what are we doing here? So yes. 90 Day UK is very, very good. But I did not know you watched Schitt's Creek. That popped me when you said that.
A lot of Schitt's Creek stories. We're definitely going to need like a full podcast for that. So I can't get into it at the end of the show.
We can do that next week. I also just started my rewatch of the OC. I just finished season 1 of the OC, and season 1 is still peak teen soap opera, teen drama of all time. Can I just say this? Like, I didn't realize that it's like 27 episodes in the first season. You get like that's like nowadays that's like 3 seasons worth. You get in one season, and just like the twist and turns with everything that goes on. Like, people don't understand. The OC was iconic. It was iconic for its time. Like, everybody talks about your Beverly Hills 90210 and stuff. Like, that was one generation, but OC brought us into the 2000s with teen dramas.
It was. We'll have to do our OC watch. We got to get Maggie on to talk about that as well. Yeah. All right. A-Shock wants to know what's your take on Rashad Wallace. I assume is that Rasheed Wallace, or is there an actual Rashad Wallace?
Both teams played hard.
All right, SV3. You want to plug anything before we get out of here?
Follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. I'll be back on your screens on YouTube later today, 3 p.m. Eastern time, on ITR Clips YouTube channel with Alex McCarthy and Sat Inyangi from Monday Night Live.
Sorry to cut you off. Can I say how awesome Sat is? Like, I've never done a show with Satty until we did Greg Cherry's show, his game show. And I knew of Sat from you. I I apologize to him. Like, I didn't follow him on Twitter because I'm bad at like refollowing and stuff. But like, this is the first time I shared a screen on him, and he's burying me because, you know, we have our rivalry on pillar to post, and he's like talking all this shit on me of like, I'm with my guy SP3, like I gotta defend him. Jeremy's always trying to screw him over on pillar to post, like I ain't having that and everything. I was cracking up during his intro when he was doing all this shit. Sat fucking rules. That he is tremendous. He is tremendous. So just shout out.
So proud of him. So proud of him. He's doing work with Wrestle Talk. He was on the podcast, did the news show. So yes, that's my guy right there. This week we're also doing previews over on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. Tomorrow, Clash at the Castle preview. I'll try to get either Alex or someone from the UK for that, even though Jeremy says I'm from the UK now. Also going to do a Worlds Collide, NXT Worlds Collide preview on Wednesday. And then Friday, we got our All Out preview with special guest of Fightful from Grab City. Righteous Reg is going to be joining us on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel. So check that out.
There you go. Everyone support SP3 and all he does at True Heel. SP3. We'll be back sometime this week with some other content. I don't know. Keep it locked. The Fightful Overbooked. Everyone go check out a new episode of Tag Talk that dropped yesterday. Check out new episode of Tim and Joel Pod, new episode of Newsworthy. Back on Twitch, streaming at some point this week. There's some wrestling game. Probably keep doing Shane McMahon season mode on WWE SmackDown. Twitch.tv/Fightful Gaming. Everyone can go check that out. Guys, thank you. Thank you for joining us here on FMC. We'll be back next Tuesday. I should go ahead and make that clear now. Next Tuesday will be FMC, not Monday, because Tony Khan's going to talk for 5 hours at 5 in the morning, and SP3 is going to be there. So he might want to sleep a little. I probably won't sleep, but maybe I'll sleep in a little bit. Regardless, it's Tuesday for FMC next week. All right, everybody. Bye, everyone. Enjoy your week.